Welcome to the first episode of our game design series. In this video, I am going to discuss my passion, dream, and mission: the creation of the Solcian franchise. The title of this video emphasizes the word mission because Solcian is to me what One Piece is to Oda, and Berserk is to Miura. It shows an image depicting Inti, the sun god of the Maya, a theme crucial to the lore of Solcian, as Sol means sun in various civilizations. This video answers 4 major questions that many people ask upon hearing about my mission. Why a franchise and not just a game? Aren't you going too ambitious in aiming for a franchise? What are you trying to achieve in involving your YouTube channel in this mission? Why not just form a company, seek for funding, form a development team, like how everyone else is doing it in the gaming industry? How will you achieve this goal? Who are you to think you can do this? Do you have a concrete plan? Can you really pull this off? I cannot stress enough the significance of this video, as it serves as the foundation for over 100 future episodes on game design. Join me as I answer these questions and provide insights into the origins and ideation behind creating a new game franchise. In this chapter, I will answer the first question: why aim for a media franchise instead of just a game? And I will fully discuss this using insights and lessons from Sam Altman. Before Sam Altman gained popularity as the CEO of OpenAI, the company behind the widely used AI tool named ChatGPT, he served as the president of Y Combinator, the largest and most successful incubation company for startups. An incubation company like Y Combinator helps founders pursue their dreams, turning their ideas into real products and services. Some of today's most innovative and largest companies, such as Airbnb, Coinbase, Twitch, Reddit, Dropbox, and GitLab, are graduates of Y Combinator. The man behind this success is its former president, Sam Altman. While leading Y Combinator as president and working with hundreds of founders, Sam discovered one of the most significant secrets to creating successful startups. It is easier to build a hard company than an easy one. You have a higher chance of succeeding with a hard, important project than a derivative one.
It's also easier to start a hard company than an easy company. Most people, especially young people, want to pick something that doesn't sound too ambitious, doesn't sound too hard, because they're like, well, starting a company sounds really hard. I better pick the easiest possible company. But actually, starting a company is always hard, and it's about equally hard no matter what you do. If you start a hard company, though, if you inspire passionate people, if you are building, like general AI or supersonic airplanes or nuclear power, you'll have a lot more people that are excited about that than another derivative idea, Facebook 1952. So this idea that it's easier to start a hard company than an easy company, I think is a big secret in startups still, but it's one that I've seen again and again play out.
The core reason for this is twofold. The first reason is that people, by nature, want to work on things that have a purpose, a mission that aligns and resonates with them. They seek something they can support and back, whether with their time, money, or effort. People are inclined to help an initiative they believe in and find compelling. Good examples of this phenomenon include movements like Wikipedia, the largest repository of human knowledge, operated and maintained by thousands of volunteers and used by millions worldwide for free, and Bitcoin, the largest decentralized financial infrastructure maintained and used by millions of users worldwide. Another example is the operating system Linux, developed for free by thousands of programmers to create a free and open source operating system that now powers most of the internet. The majority of difficult, innovative, and original startups are driven by a compelling mission, far from being derivative or seeking the easiest possible company.
Speaking of the really big companies, I think, I don't know if this was always true, I suspect it may have been, but I think today it is easier to start a hard company than an easy company. And this sounds super counterintuitive, but if you're going to build a really big company, you got to convince people to come work with you, to pay attention to you, to write press articles about you, to care about you, to advise you. And if you are starting the 22,000th photo sharing application, it's really hard. If you are starting a nuclear fusion company, a lot of people want to help with that. And I think especially for the companies that end up breaking out. This is really important. This thing that is so interesting, people proactively want to help you for free, want to come be part of your team, whatever. This is something to look for. So is this a company that I believe will be able to recruit hundreds of really talented people who could otherwise start their own companies? Is a super important filter that I don't think people think about enough.
The second reason why hard startups are more successful is that the most precious commodity in the startup ecosystem is talented people, and this strongly relates to the first reason. The majority of talented individuals want to work on something they find meaningful. Startups that aim to tackle significant and ambitious goals attract passionate people, and you will find many more individuals excited about such endeavors than a derivative idea. People are more invested in the success of startups committed to achieving something significant, and if their mission resonates with passionate and talented individuals.
Original thought is really hard to get good at, but really important. The most successful startups are not derivatives. They are not a copy of something else that was working pretty well. Most people try to start a copy of whatever worked last year. I don't know how many people started a Facebook clone in the year after Facebook. Had to be a lot. And none of those went on to really matter. The next Facebook never looks like Facebook. It looks like something totally different. And the way to get good at this is to start noticing problems in your own life.
So, to answer the main question, why a franchise and not just a game, it's because my mission for Solcian is to create a compelling universe with a shared mythology, much like what the Greeks have achieved with their unified mythology, containing stories of creation, the Iliad and Odyssey, Greek tragedies, and the adventures of heroes like Hercules and Perseus, along with various gods and creatures. A more modern interpretation of this concept is what Marvel achieved with its cinematic universe, a combination of books, TV shows, comics, and films revolving around a shared mythology. However, the most successful manifestation of this concept to date is the Pokémon franchise. Pokémon is not merely a game, it's a world that most, if not all, of us want to inhabit. The core concept of Solcian isn't to be a derivative of Greek mythology, the Marvel universe, or the Pokémon franchise, but rather to attain that level of grand ambition. Its aim is to be a compelling world on a scale that rivals the greatest mythologies ever created by mankind.
So one of the things that startups really have to get right is the idea. There's become this myth in Silicon Valley that the idea doesn't matter, and that you should start a startup and just sort of pivot your way on this random walk and hope you get to something big. But as Dustin said, all of the best startups that we have funded at Y Combinator, it was an idea first and a startup second. It was not a bunch of pivots. The very few pivots that were successful were when the founders discovered along the way that there was some other idea they were more passionate about than their first one, or they just learned some new problem.
My mission is to create the Solcian universe and manifest it in various media formats, including video games, novels, manga, TV shows, and films. Yes, I aim to create a world as vast, if not bigger, than what Pokémon has achieved. It is not to create a one-off game. My mission is to establish the largest media franchise in history, the Solcian franchise. It's a grand ambition worthy of a lifelong mission, and I am declaring my will to bring this to completion. I shall fearlessly pursue this mission, protect its integrity, and never waver in my self-conviction. Now that you have an idea of what I'm aiming to create, the second major question you might ask is, what are you doing here on YouTube? What are you trying to achieve on this channel? You already have a purpose, a burning mission. Shouldn't you be forming a company and creating your team to start building the Solcian franchise? It's true that I've found a burning mission, and all of its facets are crystal clear to me. In other words, I could start the journey towards its development by creating a company and forming a team, just like every gaming company out there. So why am I here on YouTube making these game design videos, as if I intend to involve every curious viewer who shows interest and enthusiasm in what I'm aiming to create? This is because Solcian is not just an exceptional mission. While it's already ambitious in scale, what I'm going to share with you will reveal just how large-scale this undertaking truly is. My secondary goal, equally as important as the first, is to create the Solcian franchise with a worldwide community of members who believe in the mission. I envision it as the Bitcoin of media franchises, the Linux and Wikipedia of the gaming industry. It's not enough for me to simply achieve the first goal. Equally important is how it is achieved. And I wouldn't prefer any other way than through a worldwide collaboration of passionate members contributing to the creation of the Solcian franchise. This is where my YouTube channel comes in. It will play a significant role in achieving this worldwide collaboration of community members. Through my videos and the community tools provided by YouTube, I can raise awareness and understanding among potential members about Solcian. Later on, when we have our own dedicated website, subreddit, and chat channel, we can make worldwide collaboration a reality. The mythology of Solcian alone will benefit from the diverse perspectives and inputs of members from various countries and cultures. Imagine what a collaboration of enthusiastic Solcian members can achieve in terms of level designs, boss enemies, and stories. This will make the Great Hollowing seem like a drop in a vast ocean of creativity. From its very inception, the scale of Solcian's ambition is intricately linked with the means of its creation. The only acceptable approach for me to see it realized is through a worldwide collaboration of believers, and I wouldn't want it any other way. Even if tomorrow a big game publisher were to provide funding and complete freedom for me to lead its development, that would not be acceptable to me. From my perspective, it would be a complete failure because Solcian is meant to be the mythology of the new generation, and only a worldwide collaboration is acceptable for the realization of its scale and ambition. My aim is to inspire as many people as possible and make a profound impact on their lives. I can only achieve this by taking a new path that diverges from the corporate gaming industry or the reclusive approach of small indie companies. I will bring openness, transparency, and collaboration not only to the creation of a game, but to an entire franchise. Together, we will design and create Solcian. It will be built by its believers. A good example of someone who achieved a project of a similar scale is Linus Torvalds, the creator of Linux.
Such a strange thing. Your software, Linux, is in millions of computers. It probably powers much of the internet. And I think that there are like 1.5 billion active Android devices out there. Your software is in every single one of them. It's kind of amazing. You must have some amazing software headquarters driving all this. That's what I thought, and I was shocked when I saw a picture of it. I mean, this is the Linux World Headquarters.
Yeah, it really doesn't look like much. And I have to say, the most interesting part in this picture that people mostly react to is the walking desk. It is the most interesting part in my office, and I'm not actually using it anymore. And I think the two things are related.
By providing leadership and initiating work on the Linux operating system, and with the support of the open source community, he introduced an alternative to the expensive and commercial operating systems prevalent during his time. This paved the way for open source applications and programming languages that operate on Linux, including MySQL, Apache, Python, Ruby on Rails, and others.
And what happened is the project grows and becomes something you want to show off to people, right? Really, and this is more of a, wow, look at what I did, and trust me, it was not that great back then. I made it publicly available, and it wasn't even open source at that point. At that point, it was source that was open, but there was no intention behind using the kind of open source methodology that we think of today to improve it. It was more like, look, I've been working on this for half a year. I'd love to have comments, right? And other people approached me. I had at the University of Helsinki, I had a friend who was one of the open source. It was called mainly free software back then. And he actually introduced me to the notion that, hey, you can use these open source licenses that had been around, and I thought about it for a while. I was actually worried about the whole commercial interests coming in. I mean, that's one of the worries I think most people who start out have, is that they worry about somebody taking advantage of their work, right? And I decided, what the hell, right?
Huh.
And
then at some point, someone contributed some code that you thought, wow, that really is interesting. I would not have thought of that. This could actually improve this.
It didn't even start by people contributing code. It was more that people started contributing ideas. And just the fact that somebody else takes a look at your project, and I'm sure it's true of other things too, but it's definitely true in code, is that somebody else takes an interest in your code, looks at it enough to actually give you feedback and give you ideas, which that was a huge thing for me.
What started as a personal project soon attracted contributions from developers around the globe, providing an excellent example of worldwide collaboration in software development, where people joined the movement because they believed in and understood its mission. By now, you should all have a high-level understanding of my mission, what I aim to achieve, and how it must be accomplished. My goal is to create history's largest media franchise through a worldwide collaboration of community members. In this chapter, we will discuss the core content of this video, as I answer the most crucial questions you could ask about my mission. How will you achieve this goal? What gives you the confidence that you can accomplish it? First, let me introduce an important philosophical concept that I term as destiny path. I understand that this section might seem strange initially, but give me a few minutes and everything will become clearer. Imagine waking up one morning with a craving for pizza. Then you realize and tell yourself, I want to eat pizza for lunch. This is an idea that sprang up in your mind, and it manifested as a sentence, and then became a decision, leading you to act on it by ordering pizza online through your phone, scheduled to be delivered at lunchtime. This pizza craving serves as a good introduction to the concept of destiny path. All of our longings and desires create a path to our expected outcome. In our pizza example, you can visualize the destiny path as shown in this image. The desired outcome is eating pizza, with the steps toward its realization being deciding to have it today at lunchtime, ordering it online, and the store delivering it to your place at the specified time. For most of us, this longing or desire is certainly within the realm of possibility. However, consider if you live in a remote mountain village where reaching the nearest pizza store requires a long journey and significant cost. In such a scenario, where there's no online ordering or delivery, obtaining the pizza involves spending half a day climbing a mountain to visit the store. Does this still fall within the realm of possibility? Shown here is the new destiny path to the expected outcome. Every dream has a journey towards realization, and this path is what I call the destiny path. In our previous example, we didn't even use the word dream because it was just a craving, a desire for a specific meal. But what if one morning you wake up with the longing to live and work in another country, or to spend the rest of your life with a specific special someone, or to pursue computer engineering after high school, or to create the biggest media franchise in history? These are all dreams. The journey of our dreams occurs in their own unique destiny paths. Continuously, we shape and reshape these paths to turn our dreams into reality. The destiny path is the bridge that links our ideas to tangible results. I introduced this concept because the primary question of this chapter can essentially be rephrased as follows. What is the quality of your destiny path for Solcian? Although the concept of the destiny path may be new to you, you can easily observe that destiny paths vary in quality. The higher the quality, the greater the likelihood of achieving the desired goal. Imagine 5 people sharing the same dream. Let's say they all aspire to become NBA players. Not only will their destiny paths differ from each other, but so will their qualities. Those with destiny paths of high quality have the greatest chance of entering the NBA. Now, let's make the example more challenging. Let's alter their desires so that they don't just want to enter the NBA, but to become the greatest NBA player in history. Achieving this goal requires a destiny path of the highest quality. Such a distinction isn't bestowed casually upon just anyone. It demands an individual who not only desires exactly this most ambitious dream, but also continuously shapes his destiny path to surpass all others, going above and beyond in the pursuit of his dream. I chose this example because it's a perfect analogy for the Solcian franchise. Wanting to create a media franchise is one thing, but aspiring to create the largest media franchise in history takes it to another level. However, the crucial part in realizing this dream, the most significant prerequisite for creating the highest quality destiny path for humanity's largest media franchise, is to actually desire it, to stake your claim in it, to manifest it in your mind. The highest quality destiny paths begin as ideas claimed and declared as realities by their creators. I can easily illustrate this using the lives of the greatest conquerors in history, whose destiny paths not only dominated the will and lives of those around them, but also shaped the fates of nations, races, and kingdoms worldwide. Instead, to make this concept more relatable and inspiring for everyone, I will use the context of an anime character named Monkey D. Luffy and a basketball player named Kobe Bryant. While I could have selected other historical figures and personas, the lessons and insights I aim to convey would remain unchanged. If you are a fan of the manga and anime One Piece, you will notice that whenever the main character introduces himself, he always says that he is going to be the king of the pirates. He has always been like this, even when he was a child, when he obviously had no means to back up his words.
Who the hell are you?
My name's Monkey D. Luffy, and I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Even during the middle of his journey, at a stage when he already realized and knew that there are many pirates out there that are much stronger and have a larger pirate crew, he was always consistent in declaring he will be the future king of pirates.
Yeah, what's up? Who is this? It's Big Mom, right?
What are you doing? Stop!
You don't sound like Tamago or Peckhams. Who is this?
My name is Monkey D. Luffy, soon to be king of the pirates!
Was all that really necessary? Oh, no.
And when he finally faced some of the strongest pirates in the One Piece world, he never wavered or backed down. He claimed his will as consistently as when he was a child and when just starting on his journey. He is fearless in declaring his dream, even if the odds are not in his favor, or if it is obvious that he could not yet defeat these powerful enemies.
I am Monkey D. Luffy, the man who will surpass you. And I'm gonna be king of the pirate!
Earlier, I emphasized that the most crucial part of creating the highest quality destiny path is to claim and declare the dream and truly believe that it can be achieved. This is extremely important because the majority of people fail to achieve their goals even at the dreaming stage. The moment a person believes that something is impossible or beyond their reach, this perception becomes their reality, and their mind will operate accordingly, blocking them from further ideas, decisions, and actions that could initiate the creation of the destiny path for that dream. We cannot discuss the quality of a destiny path if there is no dream. Hence, the first act of extreme courage in pursuing a dream is to claim it, to declare, I believe in this dream and I will achieve it.
I think the greatest fear that we face is ourselves, actually. I think it's not anything that's external or anything that's superficial. I think the greatest fear you face is yourself, because we all have dreams, and it's very scary sometimes to accept the dream that you have, and it's scarier still to say, okay, I want that. Mm-hmm. It's scary because you're afraid that if you put your heart and soul into it and you fail, then how are you going to feel about yourself, right? So being fearless means putting yourself out there and going for it. No matter what, go for it. Not for anybody else, but for yourself.
Notice the last part of what Kobe shared in the clip. He emphasizes pursuing the dream not for anyone else, but for yourself. There is an additional insight to this. You must declare, claim, and believe in your dream, even before you are ready. What this means is that you will pursue your dream, not because you can or cannot, but because you want to. The only requirement you need to pursue a dream is a burning desire. And the moment you believe in it, your destiny path has already been initiated.
So, what about you, Luffy? What was it that first got you to set sail on these seas?
Well, I'm gonna be king of the pirates!
Your crew? Don't have one yet, but I'm looking for him. treasure that you seek is the One Piece!
Yeah!
Yeah, that's it! Pirates from all over the world are looking for that treasure, you know?
Yeah, so?
No way! It's impossible, impossible, impossible! There's no way anyone like you could ever reach the pinnacle during this great pirate age! There's just too many out there that are meaner and better!
It's not about if I can. I'm doing this because I want to. I decided long ago that I'm gonna be king of the pirates. If I have to die fighting for that, then I die.
Notice that after Luffy shared his dream, Kobe dismissed what he said and started shouting the reasons why he believes it is impossible to achieve. Now, I am going to share with you the second most crucial part of creating the highest quality of destiny path, which is to have the courage to protect your dream. Notice that I'm not even discussing skills, qualifications, training, age, or whatever else is needed to pursue your dream. The two most crucial requirements for realizing a dream are to believe in it and to protect it. What we believe sets a limit on what we see as possible, and hence sets a limit on our potential, on what we can truly achieve. Therefore, by protecting our dreams, we unleash our potential to achieve great things.
When we talk about mindset and beliefs, we talk about limiting beliefs as sort of being the ceiling of your potential. How you think about yourself, whether positively or negatively, that's probably what your potential is. How do you stretch your beliefs and make sure you are continually pushing the boundaries of your comfort zone and your capabilities?
I just dream. I have dreams, and dreams they should be pure. I think a lot of times, when we're born into this world, we actually wind up going backwards. And it seems like the more we mature, the more responsible our dreams become, and the more governors we put on ourselves and our ability to dream and to reimagine. And it's always a fight for us parents and for you guys to make sure that your dreams always stay pure. And so it's not a matter of pushing beyond your limitations or expectations. It's really a matter of protecting your dreams, protecting your imagination. That's really the key. And when you do that, then the world just seems limitless.
Following this reasoning, the most limited people are those who fail to dream, or those who gave up on their dreams, or those who failed to protect their dreams from dismissal by others. Dreams are the fuel for our reality, manifesting in our ideas, decisions, and actions. Without a dream, there is no destiny path.
Yeah, you're right. If I had the courage, I could drift alone in a barrel and be rid of these pirates. I actually have my own dreams. Someday, I'd like to live out all of them. If I put my mind to it. If I'm prepared to die for it. Yes! Catching bad guys is the only thing I've ever wanted to do! It's been my dream since I was a child! Do you think I could do it?
How should I know that?
Then I'm gonna do it! I'm not gonna get stuck here as a cabin boy for the rest of my life! I'll break out, then I'll turn right around and catch Alvita myself!
Once the destiny path of your dream is initiated, two things will manifest in your life. Firstly, signs of obsessiveness for your mission will become evident. And secondly, other people will learn about your dream, either through your words or through your actions. I'm going to discuss the topic of obsessiveness extensively near the end of this chapter. So I will first address the manifestation of your dream to other people. As our longings and desires are revealed through our words and actions, other people will soon become aware of our dreams. In Luffy's case, he ensures that you learn about his dream just after he introduces his name. Some people may dismiss your dream, but soon you will find others who offer encouragement and support.
I'll be king of the pirates! You know it!
You seem more than obsessed with this king of the pirates business. Is there some kind of story behind it, or any kind of reason at all?
No reason. It's just...
Just what?
I promised someone, a while back. I swore that I would gather a crew, find the world's greatest treasure, and become king of the pirates. And this straw hat knows the whole story.
I see.
Now, let's go! It's time for us to set our heading for the Grand Line!
While pursuing his dream to become the king of the pirates, Luffy was able to find crewmates, true friends who are on their own journey toward their respective dreams. Observe the little ceremony they performed, where they reaffirmed the declaration of their dreams. If you are a fan of this series, you would know that they manifest their dreams in both words and actions.
Hey, look! A light!
Is that a lighthouse?
It's one of the guideposts. The entrance to the Grand Line is somewhere ahead.
Grand Line is somewhere just out ahead.
What now?
Do we have to go there in the middle of a frickin' hurricane like this? Okay then. I think we should say something to mark the occasion.
Right. Yeah! Let's do it!
I'm going to the Grand Line to find the All Blue.
And I'm gonna be King of the Pirates!
The world's best swordsman.
I'm going so I can draw a map of the entire world.
I guess I'm going to be a brave warrior of the sea.
And now to the Grand Line!
In terms of destiny paths, we can visualize the dreams of Luffy and his crew in this diagram. Notice that although each member has their own dreams, they reinforce each other and contribute to the fulfillment of all of their dreams. In this anime, the crew deeply respect, love, and trust each other to the extent that they wouldn't even consider betraying each other's dreams, not even in words. You can ignore Usopp in this scene because he is a liar and will not truly betray the dreams of the other members.
You're next, tramp!
Don't kill me! I can't fight back! It's over! You beat me! You won this! You totally defeated me!
You think I don't know that already? You've wasted enough of my time. Now say it!
Okay, what do I say?
I told you loud and clear, didn't I? Your captain pissed me off, bragging about how he's gonna beat Commander Kaido and be king of the pirates.
I'm sorry, you're right. Luffy's an idiot. And he talks too much. Just don't headbutt me, I'm begging you. I'll do anything. I'll leave the island. If you hit me again, I'm done. I'll die.
And I'll give you one last chance. Say it loud and clear. Say that your captain will never be king of the pirates.
Fine. Luffy will... Luffy will... He'll never... Luffy will... never be able to...
That's it, Nami. It's okay to lie. The truth isn't worth dying for. Not after we've come this far. Just lie to her, whatever it takes.
Luffy will... Luffy will never... never give up. Till he wins. So I'm sorry. He'll beat Kaido. And he'll become king of the pirates!
The members value each other, especially their captain, to the extent that they are willing to sacrifice their own destiny paths just to ensure Luffy completes his own path. While this may be depicted in an anime, similar sacrifices can be observed in real life, such as parents sacrificing their dreams for their children or older siblings giving their all so their younger siblings can achieve their dreams.
The only way you'll back down is if we give you Luffy's head.
That is the only compromise I'm willing to offer.
Want a head? Then I'll give you a head. However, I can't give you my captains. You'll have to take mine instead. Please settle for that. I may not have the same bounty on my head as Luffy at the moment, but I swear to you that I am destined to become the greatest swordsman the world has ever known. Surely that must be worth something.
You possess that much ambition, and yet you're willing to give it all up and exchange your life for his?
The way things are looking, I don't see any other way to save the rest of my crew. What's the point of having ambition if I can't even save my captain? Luffy is the man who'll become king of the pirates!
Real cute. Stop trying to show me up. You got the right idea, but what about your dream? You can't accomplish anything if you're dead, you stubborn fool.
Don't tell me.
Listen, you giant oaf! Hey! Don't bother with Mosshead here. If you're taking a head, take mine. The government might not consider me a serious threat right now, but you'll regret not taking my head over his once I start making trouble. Now's your chance to take on Blackleg Sanji.
You jackass!
You might be wondering why I'm discussing the team dynamics of Luffy's crew and how it relates to my mission. The reason for this is crucial for achieving the two goals I've set for Solcian. If you recall from the previous chapter, I shared that the Solcian franchise will not be developed within the confines of a traditional media company. Instead, I envision it being created by a collaboration of a global community of passionate members. I modeled the production process of Solcian after community-led projects like Linux, Wikipedia, and Bitcoin, but I also drew inspiration from the Straw Hat Pirates. My aim for Solcian is to inspire people worldwide and bring hope to everyone who wants to engage in creative work within the context of a shared mythology. You don't need to be ready, you just need to be willing. There's a place in Solcian for everyone. If you can be imaginative and creative, you can join us. While I can't provide all the details yet, one thing I can assure you: if this project succeeds, not only will my life change, but also the lives of everyone who decides to join me. The destiny path of Solcian contains two goals: to become the biggest media franchise and to be created by a worldwide community of members. I am proud to share that Solcian has already crossed the line of impossibility. This video exists, and I have claimed and declared my mission. Not only do I believe in its realization, but I can also vividly envision its creation and the end results. By watching this video, you have known of my will, and I have made that tiny dent in the universe, asserting my will to fulfill this mission and bring it to completion. It is now an idea that lives not just in my mind, but in others as well. Some may dismiss it, but others will decide to join me. As I shared earlier, you don't have to be ready. You just need to be willing. Will you declare and claim your part in this mission and help create the largest media franchise in history? If you have doubts, take your time to consider. But let me ask you a question. When was the last time you encountered someone claiming that they will create the largest media franchise in history? And when was the last time you were invited to join such a goal? We both know the answer to these questions. Do not let the only reason for you to turn down my invitation be because you think it is impossible. There is nothing impossible for those who are willing to try. Previously, I shared that a dream's destiny path will manifest in our lives in two ways. Firstly, other people will learn about our mission through our words and actions, and secondly, our mission will manifest as an obsession. Having covered the initial aspect, I'll now discuss the topic of obsession. An obsession is the greatest gift you will receive after initiating a destiny path. The stronger the obsession, the higher quality the destiny path becomes. If you recall, I said earlier that to pursue your dream, you do not need to be ready, you only need to be willing. And the main reason for this is that your obsession will help transform you from someone who is unprepared to a capable person with the required skills to actually pursue the dream. Whatever you need to achieve your dream, whether it is time, resources, ability, or effort, you will gain them through the power of obsession. An obsession imbues us with a myriad of virtues: resilience, tenacity, determination, relentlessness, passion, courage, and more. A burning obsession grants us access to these attributes in their fullest measure, igniting within us an unwavering intensity. In this video, Sam talks about determination and its importance for starting a company. Through our obsession, determination and the resolve to never give up naturally manifest within us.
You want to select for determination. Determination is the most important value in a co-founder I've ever been able to identify. And it's not the thing people look for the most. Startups really, really hard. Determined people are the ones that make it work. Startups are about not giving up. When we talk to our best founders, the things that they say are things like, I always figure it out. I never give up. And these are the traits that it actually works. It's not that picture that Dustin showed from the movie of like a beautiful mind style writing equations on the window. It's just dogged persistence. And you keep going and eventually it works. And that comes, it's co-founders that need to have that. So when I think about co-founders, I tell people to think values first, aptitude second, and specific skills third. I think most people go in the opposite order. They're like, I need a co-founder who knows JavaScript and X and Y. And really, like, you want to find someone that matches your values, especially this value of determination. You want someone that just has a lot of potential and aptitude. And then finally, you can think about specific skills.
An obsession serves as the fuel for you to endure the drudgery, the long hours, and the grueling work while pursuing your dream. These are what enable you to gain the skills, knowledge, or abilities you need in shaping your destiny path.
And when I came back to the States, I wasn't the most athletic kid. You know, I was really scrawny, like really, really skinny, and had like major knee issues because I was growing. So I was the dorky kid with high socks and big old knee pads.
It's fashionable now.
It's fashionable now. It wasn't then. It wasn't then. And so I had to look long term because in the here and now, I couldn't compete with these kids. I mean, there was kids that were like 12 years old with beards. Like, I can't, what am I supposed to do with that? Like, they're doing windmills and dunking backwards, and I'm happy to like tap the backboard, you know? So I had to look at it from a long term because I wasn't going to give up on the game.
Right.
So I had to say, okay, this year I'm going to get better at that. Next year, this, and then so forth and so on. And then patiently, I was able to catch them.
Yeah. I love hearing that because I think so many of us kind of, you believe like when you see people like yourself, it's like, it's so easy as an excuse to ourselves to just be, oh, you're destined for it, right? You were made for it. It's kind of like that kind of, you know, like, oh yeah, it's, you know, but when you talk about saying, oh, actually, when I started, I didn't have the physicality that meant that I was going to make it. Like you had to figure it out. And I love it.
Figure it out, man. It's just piece by piece. And it's the consistency of the work, which I feel like a lot of parents are missing today because we're not teaching that to our kids. We tend to say like kids don't want to do the work, but in reality, it's when we're failing them because we're not leading them the right way and teaching them, you know, how to fish, you know what I mean? And so like the consistency of work, Monday, get better. Tuesday, get better. Wednesday, get better, right? And you do that over a period of time, you know, not like 1 month or 2 months. I mean, it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. And then you can get to where you want to go.
Another attribute that an obsession naturally brings to us is passion. In the next clip, Dustin Moskovitz, one of the co-founders of Facebook, shares how passion is one of the best reasons for starting a company.
Let's talk about what I see as the best reason for starting a company. So basically, you can't not do it. So this has two roots. The first is passion. So passion is really important since we just talked about how hard it is to start a company. So you're going to need that passion to power through. And you also need it to recruit great people to follow you as a leader. And then the second part of this is that you're the right person to make this happen by starting a company. So if you fail to do it, you're actually going to be depriving the world of something great. So this implies that the idea itself is really valuable, and it also implies that you're the best person to bring that idea into the world. If you're not the best person, then that best person's out there, and they're probably going to outcompete you and create something even more valuable.
During the Q&A section of this event, Dustin clarified that what he actually meant by passion was a burning obsession. As I have shared earlier, once our mission manifests itself as an obsession, it inherently brings these crucial virtues with great intensity and at no cost.
I was thinking along the passion dimension. What are your thoughts along the lines from, say, like interest to like pathological obsession?
Okay. So the question is, when I talked about passion, am I talking just about an interest in the subject or pathological obsession? Again, it's a spectrum, but probably more towards the pathological obsession. Like when I say like you can't not do it, it's like one of these things where you'll look back 20 years from now and be like, man, I really should have like gone after that idea. It was really important to me. Whereas like interests, I have a lot of interests in the world. They're not all necessarily important, and they're not all going to keep my attention for like the 10 or 20 years that you need to focus.
This next clip is now one of the most famous speeches about the importance of passion and its role in accomplishing great deeds. While Steve Jobs discusses his experiences at Apple, the insights he shares are universal.
People say you have to have a lot of passion for what you're doing, and it's totally true. And the reason is because it's so hard that if you don't, any rational person would give up. It's really hard, and you have to do it over a sustained period of time. So if you don't love it, if you're not having fun doing it, you don't really love it, you're going to give up. And that's what happens to most people, actually. If you really look at the ones that ended up, being successful, unquote, in the eyes of society, and the ones that didn't, oftentimes it's the ones that are successful loved what they did so they could persevere when it got really tough. And the ones that didn't love it quit because they're sane, right? Who would want to put up with this stuff if you don't love it? So it's a lot of hard work, and it's a lot of worrying constantly. And if you don't love it, you're going to fail. So you got to love it. You got to have passion.
My favorite analogy for an obsession is a chain that binds your heart and your mind. It never lets go, and it burns you all the time. It is the last thing on your mind before you sleep, and the first thing you think about when you wake up. An obsession can make you do things that are deemed extraordinary by other people. I can confidently assert that nearly every significant feat or achievement in history, whether in arts, literature, science, mathematics, or philosophy, was realized with unwavering obsession.
Usually, I'm sleeping at 4 a.m. You're working out. So talk about that.
Okay, so if your job is to try to be the best basketball player you can be, right? To do that, you have to practice, you have to train, right? You want to train as much as you can, as often as you can. So if you get up at 10 in the morning, train at 11, right? 12, say 12, train at 12, train for 2 hours, 12 to 2. You have to let your body recover. So you eat, recover, whatever. You get back out, you train, start training again at 6. Train from 6 to 8, right? And now you go home, you shower, you eat dinner, you go to bed, you wake up, you do it again, right? Those are 2 sessions, right? Now imagine you wake up at 3, you train at 4. You go 4 to 6, come home, breakfast, relax, blah, blah, blah. Now you're back at it again, 9 to 11. Right, you relax, and now all of a sudden you're back at it again, 2 to 4, and now you're back at it again, 7 to 9. Look how much more training I have done by simply starting at 4, right? And so now you do that, and as the years go on, the separation that you have with your competitors and your peers just grows larger and larger and larger and larger and larger, and by year 5 or 6, doesn't matter what kind of work they do in the summer, they're never going to catch up because they're 5 years behind, right? So it makes sense to get up and start your day early because you can get more work in.
Is that genetic? Or is that something you ingrained and trained yourself?
No, it was
Who
just,
taught you that?
For me, it was just common sense. Like I can, if I start earlier, I can train more hours. And I know the other guys aren't doing it because I know what their training schedule is, right? So I know if I do this consistently over time, the gap's just going to widen and widen and widen and widen and widen, and they won't be able to get that back. Mm-hmm. So to me, it was just common sense and like thinking, how can I get an advantage? Oh, start earlier. Yeah, let's do that.
When did you start doing that?
Man, like high school. My first class in high school was 7:45. I used to get to the gym around 5 a.m. and I'd play before school. And then school would start.
Who's
and then
playing with you at 5 a.m.?
My coach. So my coach would show up and we'd do all these basketball drills. Right?
So just you and your coach?
Just me and my coach. And sometimes it would just be me and the janitor, and who's still there today. And then I play at lunchtime.
That guy should get a medal.
I hooked him up with a few things. But I play during lunch and then practice after, and then go home, do my schoolwork, and then watch a bunch of game film and games on TV and study film.
Was that the only thing you've been obsessed about, basketball?
Well, until recently, yeah. Basketball had dominated, my entire life for more than 30 years.
And the beauty of obsession is that it can continue to benefit you even when your focus shifts. In Kobe's case, after establishing his legacy in basketball, he embarked on a new, promising journey in the creative media field, an area vastly different from the hyper-competitive world of sports.
What I'm loving here right now is that all I'm hearing is like Kobe the storyteller. Like, I'm loving it. Like, what I feel is like, what I'm hearing about is your obsession and obsessiveness with stories.
Yeah.
And it's not just like, I'm sharing this, it's like you've really studied stories, like you've really broken them down and understood it. Tell me about where that obsession comes from in general, like how you find obsessiveness and how you've applied that to story.
Yeah, obsessiveness just comes from something that you love. Like, you really love it, you'll go through fire for it. You'll go through the ups and downs with it, and you'll just keep at it because you love it so much, And story for me started a long time ago. I had a great English teacher at Lower Merion High School named Jane Mastriano. And she explained to me the art of storytelling my sophomore year. And that's where I started falling in love with it and understanding story structure, how to develop compelling characters, and how stories are the driving force, whether they're inspirational or informational, that really change society.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're defined by the stories we tell ourselves, whether personally or outside.
Absolutely.
The world.
Earlier, I showed Dustin discussing the importance of passion in starting a company. Here is a video clip where Sam shares obsession as one of the most important qualities of founders who went on to create the biggest companies in history.
However, I think you can, with practice, identify founders, and I'm going to talk about how, that have a chance at creating one of these companies. Paul Buchheit, one of our partners, made a list of the 4 traits that he thought founders that go on to create giant companies have. And they are obsession, focus, frugality, and love. He said this sort of in passing in a meeting like 2 or 3 years ago. I've thought about it a lot since. There's other obvious things that everyone screens for, but pay attention to these. Speaking of the obvious things that everyone screens for, intelligence is really important. You can give a founder an idea, and they can start a company. The problem is they need to come up with new ideas for a company. Basically, like every week, you have to come up with crazy new ideas, big changes all the time. We tried an experiment once at YC where we funded 20 teams of strong founders that didn't have ideas, but were otherwise really good. And what we learned, they all failed. And what we learned is that the good founders are the people that have ideas all the time.
In the previous clip, I included the section where Sam talks about the experiment they did. For me, the main reason why the founders in the experiment failed is that they were not initially obsessed with the ideas that were given to them. Without a dream that you truly love and believe in, you will not gain the gift of obsession and the various virtues it brings. Talking about generating new ideas, obsession has the power to create moments of epiphany. While our dreams follow their destiny paths, there are special junctions along the way that are particularly significant, as they are often brought on by epiphanies. In the next clip, Kobe talks about creativity, but it's noteworthy that in both his personal example and that of John Williams, the epiphanies were brought on by obsession.
Creativity is in everything, like even in consistent, like what I found is creativity a lot of time comes from structure.
I agree. I'm so glad you said that.
Like you have those parameters and the structure, then within that you can be creative. But like if you don't have the structure, you're just aimlessly doing stuff. You're just like, where are you going? So like having a clear structure of understanding, okay, this morning I'm going to, like when I was writing a Wizard Art series and outlining Legacy, I come in the morning, 7 a.m. and I'm there. I'm writing backstory from 7 to 12. then go pick up my kids, and then I come right back and I'm writing again. So like within that structure, my mind when I go to sleep is already like planning of what the next day is going to be, because I know, what it is I have to do. It's that consistency and structure.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I'm writing my first book right now.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of people have been asking me like, Jay, and I'm like that. I have a very scheduled focus on writing, and people be like, well, how do you find inspiration at that time? What if you're not inspired at that time? And I'm like, no, the structure helps spontaneity.
Yeah.
Right? It's that consistency that breeds creativity.
Well, that's the thing too, is like, people think like you're just kind of mulling along, and all of a sudden, aha, like the show that we have on ESPN now called Detail, basketball, sports breakdown show. That came to me when I was walking around with my wife shopping.
Yeah.
And I look at a piece of fabric and I'm like, wow, this is really the detail. And this thing is, oh my God, Detail. That's the name of the show. And then everything came from there. But I had been thinking about a show like that for like a year.
Yeah.
And I couldn't shake it loose. I'm like, what? I gotta find a sports show that I'm going to do, but can't just be basketball focused, has to be broader. And I want to hear from the best minds in the world. I want to hear from Peyton Manning. I want to hear from, what is it? For like a year. And then all of a sudden, boom. And so people think it just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You got to like obsess over it for a while, and then it kind of pops loose.
Absolutely. Yeah. You had to plant the seed well before to see the fruit.
Yeah. And you got to water it all the time, man. Like you got to sit down and watch other shows that are out there, and like, and then ultimately you just find, like when the answer comes to you, it's like, my God, I could have thought of that on the first day. I remember John Williams told me that. He said he'll sit for like 2 months to try to figure out what the melody is.
Yeah.
And he'll just be playing. He'll be at his piano all day. He'll say the only day he'll take off is Sunday because his wife forces him to take Sundays off. And he'll just be sitting there writing. And then it just comes.
Yeah.
And he's like, I seriously could have thought of that on the first day. Like, why? It's just so simple.
And finally, as the last example of the power of obsession in shaping and manifesting our destiny paths, is this insight from James Donaldson, also known as Mr. Beast.
I was so obsessed. I'm telling you, it is unhealthy how there's not a single person on the planet that's been more obsessed that same time span as me, because it's physically impossible.
Yeah.
Almost every hour of the day. That's what I was doing. In math class, in English class, in any time of the day, I was thinking about YouTube nonstop the last 10 years.
Now that I have covered all the preliminary topics I wanted to discuss, we can finally return to the main questions of this chapter. So, to answer the main questions of this chapter, what makes me think I can achieve this goal? My answer is simple, and yet the most powerful answer that can ever be, because I have a burning desire to do it, and I genuinely believe in it, protecting it from all doubts and dismissals. And regarding how I can achieve it, my answer is the only best answer to this question, with absolute obsession. While preparing this video, one of my primary objectives is to convey the message that when embarking on the journey towards one's dreams, the specifics become inconsequential. What truly matters is the intensity of the impetus and the clarity of the destination. In the words of Luffy, he has no crew, no knowledge of where to find one, and no ship. Basically, he knows nothing. Yet he holds one unwavering conviction for which he's willing to risk his life, that he will become the king of the pirates. The details of his path do not matter as they are naturally filled by his burning obsession. This aspect of prioritization applies to each of us, though we are all unique and have our own dreams. More crucial than concrete plans is the establishment of unwavering resolve, the grit to never give up, the tenacity to endure long hours, and the burning desire and obsession to relentlessly pursue our dreams. Nevertheless, I included this chapter to provide you with an idea of the high-level plan for Solcian's destiny path. My immediate goal is to increase awareness and understanding among my viewers about the nature of the Solcian franchise. This necessitates the creation of over 100 videos covering a wide range of topics, from broad subjects to highly detailed and focused content, such as story structuring or game controller layout. We will explore every aspect of creating a media franchise, delving deep into specific topics as required. Ultimately, my aim is to manifest my ideas and transfer them to the minds of every interested audience. This will enable you, my viewers, to make informed decisions about whether Solcian is something that inspires and excites you. But as I have shared earlier, I want to emphasize our priorities. Belief trumps everything, and we can begin even before we are ready. Our values are more important than our skills. This perspective is shared as well by Sam in this clip. When hiring people, the priority is always the values, followed by the aptitude, and lastly, the specific skills of the person. This is analogous to pursuing dreams. The strength of the belief trumps the details.
I was wondering, so like if there are two people you could hire, one person is like very passionate about like the things that you're building, but lack of skill that you need, but the other person is like really, really good at like in things that you're not good at, but they're not really passionate about like your idea, like which one would you convert them to join?
All right, so you have the choice to hire people. One is passionate and value aligned, but not a good skills match. The other one's a great skills match, but not passion aligned. Values first, aptitude second, specific skills third. If you can get a really smart person who really shares your values and your mission and believes in what you're doing, they can learn the skills. I think this is a framework that has not let me down many times.
Recall Kobe's earlier insight about people's potential being limited by their beliefs. Hence, even aptitude is strongly correlated with values. This is why I consistently emphasize that there's a place for everyone in Solcian. All members need is willingness. Readiness will follow in due course. Everyone is unique, and it's natural to harbor fears or doubts about one's true potential. In this clip, Kobe emphasizes that you need only focus on what you truly desire and dance as beautifully as you can, striving to be the best version of yourself in that particular domain.
Because I think being fearless, this last one sticks out in my mind a lot because, being in Asia, Asian kids, a lot of times they're a little bit more boxed in thought, in mentality, as opposed to Western kids. Western kids, a lot of the family, the environment, ever since a young age in school, it's preaching independence. Speak your thoughts, be creative, independent. A lot of that, it's also reiterated by teachers, principals, mothers and fathers and aunts and uncles and coaches, is to bring name to yourself and to be independent, to be out there and go on your own. But in Asia, a lot of the cultures, whether it's Chinese, Japanese, Korean, it's, don't go out there and do crazy things. Don't go out of your comfort zone. Make your family proud. Don't bring other people attention. Just do your thing, do it well, but don't bring attention. And I think a lot of kids are fearful of going out of this box, right? Is there advice for these kids? Because a lot of times it's a cultural difference.
Sure.
Right? How do they put themselves out there when?
I think, listen, it's very simple. You have to dance beautifully in the box that you are comfortable dancing in, right? So like everybody's box is different. My box was to be extremely ambitious within the sport of basketball. Your box is different than mine, right? Every kid here has their own box, but it doesn't mean that your box isn't as beautiful as mine, right? Everybody has their own. It's your job to try to perfect it and make it as beautiful of a canvas as you can make it. And if you have done that, then you have lived a successful life. You have lived with Mamba mentality, right? So it doesn't mean you have to go out here and do all of these crazy things. I'll have to be like this person or that person. No, what are you comfortable being? What is it that you want to do with your life? And once you have that, then you try to live it to the best of your ability.
Setbacks and obstacles are inevitable. For Solcian, I anticipate these challenges as integral to the journey, which is why I continuously shape and reshape its destiny path. It's not merely about avoiding failure, but also about consistently bouncing back after facing defeats.
Take us back to that day against Phoenix, right? When you injured your Achilles.
Against Golden State. It was hard, man. Because the Achilles injury is the worst injury for an athlete. It's like the worst. It's like the kiss of death. And when I ruptured my Achilles, I knew what happened. I knew the severity of the injury, and I didn't know if I was going to come back from it.
Yeah, in the locker room, you were crying.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. Like, this is it. Like, my career could be over right now. So
how do you get back from that? Because, when you talk about injuries, people sprain their ankles, dislocate your fingers, but Achilles, people don't come back from that.
Well,
athletes don't come back from that to the level they were before.
Yeah.
How do you get that resilience? How do you fight that?
Well, what I did is, I went home and I was just really angry. And
Angry.
I was angry. I was mad. I was angry. I worked so hard for us to get to the playoffs and to have a chance to win another championship, and then this happened. So I had a lot of anger. And then from the anger, then I was sad. And then you start feeling bad for yourself. And then you say, all right, okay, I'm done being a baby. Okay, what am I going to do now? Because I can't sit here and give up. That's not an option. So now what?
How long was the cycle from this anger?
This is one night.
One night.
This is one night. It's one night. It was
because
like,
you started writing in the middle of the night, right? You wrote that. You wrote that.
And then it was okay. What are we going to do? So it was one night. But then then you start. It's a process. You look at process. What am I going to do? What can I control? Surgery. We'll do the surgery. Come out of the surgery. Recover. From there, physical therapy. Okay, physical therapy. Piece by piece by piece by piece by piece. Start running. Back on the court. And so I broke things down into sections and said, okay, I'm going to focus on resting right now. This is it. I'm going to focus on moving my toes and then walking. And then, so you look at every challenge at every step. And that's how you're able to be resilient and come back from these things.
Because, for your field in sports, injuries often happen, right? And to come back. But for most everyday people, it's something that they can't fathom because they don't have that type of resistance that they have to face, right? So how do they come back from it? Because sometimes people fail in their fields and their jobs or at school, young kids, you don't have a good test score, you don't make the basketball team, or they have these disappointments. What is your advice to young kids to face this adversity? How do you persevere?
Well,
because you have that chemical makeup to fight through it.
Yeah.
Not all kids do.
But every kid, every person has the ability to put one foot in front of the other.
One step at a time.
Right? So if you're saying, okay, I'm going to climb Mount Everest, you're at the bottom of the mountain and you look up and you're going, I'm not going to climb Mount Everest, right? But if you break it down into sections and you just one foot in front of the other, one step at a time, next thing you know, you're at the top of the mountain.
So the map, the plan is to set short-term goals.
Yeah.
And to get there, A to B, B to C, C to D.
Coming back from my Achilles, I came back from the Achilles, and I was fine. And then the next year, I fractured my knee. Right? It's like, oh, here we go again. Come back from that next year, tear my shoulder. Here we go again. Right? But if I looked at those things in totality, it'd be depressing. But if I look at it as just the facts, this is it happened. Can't do anything about it. It happened. Now what are you going to do? One step at a time.
Notice in the previous clip how Kobe described the step-by-step process of recovering from his major injury. That mirrors precisely the process of shaping and reshaping a destiny path. For Solcian as a whole, believing that any obstacle can be overcome is actually more important than having the perfect plan where failures can't occur. Let me repeat that, as this chapter is about plans. Believing that any obstacle can be overcome is actually more important than having the perfect plan where failures can't occur. Hence, belief trumps details. I am fully aware and proud that Solcian's path diverges significantly from that of traditional media and gaming companies. While we have models like Wikipedia, Linux, and Bitcoin, nothing in humanity's history quite matches what Solcian aims to achieve: a global collaboration of members working on a shared mythology. Media companies understandably protect their intellectual properties fiercely, prioritizing their financial interests, but Solcian operates differently. Solcian is about our shared legacy, our shared mythology, and that's why Solcian will emerge victorious in its goal. It represents a pure idea conceived for the first time in history.
It's a problem because, what I found in the industry, which is why we self-publish, because a lot of publishers want to publish the same type of story. The same type of plots, same looking characters, not a lot of diverse characters out there at all. And so we said, you know what, we're going to have to do this on our own. This way we don't have anybody in our way telling us what the market wants to hear. I don't care about that. We write stories that come from the heart, and our characters are going to look like my daughters, because my daughters don't have characters out there that look like them.
It's a great point.
So they're going to look like my kids, and we're going to go from there.
Yeah, I think what you've just raised there about diversity and representation is huge.
It's huge, man.
Huge.
Because I don't see it, man. And like, books is just the first thing. Publishing is the first thing. Now, if we look at animation is even worse. It's even worse, in terms of developing characters, diverse characters. But even beyond that, the animators themselves, there's no diversity in that industry.
Right.
None. And I'm talking not just racial diversity, but gender diversity as well.
Yeah.
And so there are a lot of things that we need to take on that we are taking on, and hope to make the world and the industry a better place because of it.
Yeah, no, I fully agree with that. I'm a British Indian, right? Born and raised in London, Indian, never seen any character that look like me anywhere.
Right. Because they think, the mass market, it's not going to appeal to the mass market, so we're not going to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, what? What?
Yeah, and everything's spreading so fast now, and everything's global now.
Yeah.
Right? Nearly all content is global now, and most global markets are growing everywhere. So the need for people, especially young people, being able to see themselves in characters. And it's not, and I think it's a deeper point that you're making, is you want to be able to see your story in someone.
Right.
Right? Even just beyond like color and background, it's like your story, your experience of life.
I have shared my intentions and extended an invitation to you, my viewer, to consider joining Solcian. I understand that most people may not entertain the idea or choose to join. However, I am confident that somewhere out there, my message will resonate and find its place within my minimum viable audience.
And then perhaps the most practical lesson in the book, the one that is unsettling for anyone who thinks of themselves as a professional marketer, and is essential for anyone who wants to go into the world and make change happen, which is this. What we have to do is seek the smallest viable audience, not the biggest one, not the biggest average mass market, but the smallest market we can live with. Because if we can obsess about 100 people or 1,000 people, if we can treat different people differently, if we have the chance to say, here, I made this, and then realize that if someone doesn't get it, if they don't like it, if they don't want it, we can say, oh, it's not for you. If we can realize that deep down, we have the chance to make something special for a few, and we get to pick which people, that we take advantage of this new world we live in.
As a final message, I'd like to reiterate that all the remarkable achievements of mankind began as mere ideas. I began this video with this notion, and I want to conclude with the message that if others can dream of great things and bring them to fruition, so can we, and even more so because we now have the privilege of standing on the shoulders of these giants. We can make our dent in the universe and contribute to mankind's legacy, just like our heroes and muses before us. So, to answer the main question of this chapter, can I pull this off? My answer is the only answer there is, and is the best answer that can be. Absolutely yes.
You can be mentored by people who aren't alive.
100%. Because their stories still live, which brings us to the importance of storytelling.
Yeah.
Their stories still live. These muses are here. It's important to learn from them. And if anything, it helps you remember that they are human, just like us.
Yeah.
These great things that get accomplished can be accomplished by others and beyond. Building Walt Disney Company is not something that, people look at and scoff at and go, oh, it can't be done. Well, why not? Why not?
Yeah. And the more action you take, the more you think is possible.
Yeah, because you realize there are people just like us. They make mistakes just like us. And they kept going. Yeah. And we can do the same.
Absolutely.
This channel and its videos would not be possible without your support. And I would like to thank everyone who has joined us. We have 3 tiers in our channel members: the channel supporters, the Solcian patrons, and the Solcian collaborators. If you are not yet keen on the idea of the Solcian franchise, please consider joining me as a channel supporter. Your membership will be of great help in realizing Solcian and in the production of new videos. In our next episode for Solcian, we will delve into the question, what motivates people to consume media? We'll explore the concept of the 3 pulls, which play a significant role in shaping the design of the Solcian franchise. Now it's your turn to share your ideas and opinions. Do you agree on the power of beliefs, of dreams, and obsession? Do you share your dreams with others? What are your thoughts on the Solcian franchise? What feedback do you have?